Hi everyone, my name's Juliana Meyer and I'm founder and CEO of a music tech startup called SupaPass. So before I start, I just thought it would be good to get a feel of who's in the room. Put up your hand if you're a developer. Cool. Put up your hand if you're a musician. Cool, lots of musicians. Put up your hand if you are founder of a startup. Put up your hand if you're not currently, but would like to possibly turn your idea into a startup or join a startup. Cool, excellent. Okay, so as I said, I'm founder and CEO of SupaPass. So SupaPass, in a nutshell, is a powerful set of marketing tools for brands and music artists to increase their reach and also engage deeply with their superfans, which is why it's called SupaPass. And so basically, it's a business model in a box solution for music artists to monetize their digital content and also to nurture their superfans, to grow, to really nurture that special relationship and grow their loyal fan base. So from the fans' point of view, they're getting a number of different things. So firstly, they're having the opportunity to become a patron of the arts of their favorite band. And they also, in return, get VIP access to the artist and lots of cool exclusive stuff. So we've had quite an interesting journey, and I actually thought I'd do a slightly different talk tonight. Instead of talking a lot about SupaPass and what it does, I thought I'd take the opportunity to talk about our journey and how we got here. So people are usually pretty surprised to hear that we're still a bootstrapping startup. So we've done it all completely without any external investment. We've had some really cool traction. So for example, at South by Southwest this year, they have a startup competition and we were named Best European Startup. At Midem last year, they named us Best UK Startup. So we've had some really cool stuff happening. And I thought it might be quite interesting for you guys. I mean, tell me if you want to just know more about SupaPass, but I thought I'd tell you a bit about the journey and how we got here. So I guess we all have really cool ideas, or we're not sure if they're good ideas, and then how do we turn that idea into something which then hopefully eventually millions of people around the world will use. We're definitely not at that stage yet, by the way, but that's really the progression. So from the idea, the steps generally, you start a business, obviously you put together a team. Then there's building the product, and that goes through a few cycles. So building the product, testing, learning, iterating, that's such an important stage of it, as I'm sure all of you know. And then once you've got this really cool product, then the real work starts, because then it's all about getting it out there, marketing it, getting customers, and that whole process. And the more customers you get, the more you learn, and therefore keep iterating. Build up traction, and then hopefully at some point you've got some really cool traction that maybe you then want to really go for some supreme growth. Usually companies take investment at that stage, and actually that's one of the stages that we're at the moment. So we're currently doing our first investment round, but we're most of the way through that, hoping to close at the end of this month. Just got about 25% of the round left to raise. So I thought I'd talk about the journey, starting with a little bit of my background, where I come from. So my background is actually as a musician. I have done, what have I done? I played at Glastonbury Festival. I played at the Houses of Parliament a bit randomly. I did things like, for example, the Olympics. I wrote Norfolk's official Olympic song, and things like that. So I've done quite a lot of stuff, mainly in the independent music industry, but been in the music industry for about 15 years. And it was really through the stuff that I was doing, running an independent record label and publishing company, and seeing what I was doing and all of my colleagues were doing, that it just felt that there was a better way to automate that system and join a lot of the dots to make it a lot easier to give artists more regular income and give fans more directly exactly what they're looking for. So that's really where the idea for SupaPass came from. I also have a bit of a tech background. I'm a bit of a tech geek. I actually did an engineering degree. So people usually sort of go engineering degree, musician. That doesn't really fit together, but what's really nice about running SupaPass is actually I feel like those two completely different sides of, so the engineering part of me, that it's all, the thing that I really love is solving problems, making systems more efficient, and with SupaPass, I get to bring that side of my way of thinking together with my music industry experience and my love of music and passion for making things happen and sharing cool things with people so that they can access more music. So it's really nice bringing together all those different parts. So I started my first business at 16, so I've always been quite into that side of things as well. So we went from having this experience of what the problem was that we were facing, and through that experience, finding a problem, that's usually the best way to, I think, where ideas come from, and really that's where innovation is at its best. So that's where our SupaPass story started, was a real-life problem that I myself was having as an artist, and that's where it started off at. So when I first started, I'd done engineering, but it was actually like civil engineering, so I'd done 20 lines of code probably in my life. I wasn't really a developer. And so the first thing that I wanted to do was really get my head around coding and stuff. So I spent the first few weeks just like buried in books and obviously a lot of online stuff. And my grandfather, actually I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and my grandparents are very inspiring to me. And one of my grandfathers always said that there's nothing that you can't learn in books. And that's how he founded his business that then he built up into a very successful business. And that lesson of that there's nothing that you can't learn in books has always stuck with me. So it didn't matter that I didn't know anything about coding. I had this idea, and this is how I was going to make it happen. So that was the first thing that I did. But pretty early into that journey, I realized that really the very next thing I should do is get a tech co-founder. So I was living in Norwich. Well, I still live in Norwich. And basically at that stage, so this was 3 years ago, there was no tech community there. A lot of developers living and working there, there's some really good software companies there, but there was no community to bring all of those people together. So it started off with 12 of us in the pub. I basically set up what's now Sync Norwich, and I thought, probably no one will come. In that first meeting, 12 people came, and now, a few years later, it's the most active tech startup outside of London in about 50-mile radius, 100-mile radius outside of London. I forgot how far Norwich is. We've run a couple of tech conferences. We've got over 900 members. Some events we get 350 people. We've had international speakers come. So that's been a kind of side thing that happened just because I wanted to meet developers and meet my tech co-founder. It was obviously the right time and the right place, because this amazing community just sort of came out of the woodwork, and lots of really cool startups are now starting to come out of there. So that was a cool part of the journey. And one of the things about, when people ask, well, how have we done what we've done on a bootstrapping budget? The amount of cash we've spent is very, very, very small in relation to what most companies spend at our kind of stage. And one of the key things, I think, is about having an idea that people can really get behind and get really passionate about, and really willing to put in a lot of time. And we've got an amazing advisory board, and everyone on the board they love what we're doing. They are absolute experts in their field, and it's just been fantastic. Our team, they've just put in so much time because they really believe in what we're doing. So, and then the other thing I would say that is another great lesson that I've learned is it's all about solving a real-life problem and having a product that people really want. So, so here's a little picture from some of the stuff that we've been doing. Here's Hannah from our team. Here's our team, which is, I guess I'll talk through the team a little bit. So I've introduced myself. We've got Mike, our CTO, so he ran a telecom startup in the 90s, and he also built the Frozen Ark, which is the international DNA database for endangered species. We've got Matt, who's a designer for 1Password, who have 50 million users. We've got James, who's a brand strategy consultant. We've got Paul, who's a senior managing consultant from IBM. And then we've got Phil and Jessica, who have music industry experience. So quite a cool, pretty diverse team. As I say, everyone has just been, really engaged with what we're doing. And our advisory board, so on our advisory board, we've got Clive Gardner, who was VP of Digital Music at We7 before it sold to Tesco, which is now Blinkbox Music. He's currently Head of Digital Transformation at RNIB, in charge of about 100 people. Tahir Bashir, who's leading music technology lawyer. They've been really, really fantastic right from the very beginning. And Khalid Amin, who's an advisor to the Technology Strategy Board. And then Michael, who's been helping us on the brand side that we're doing as well. So we've also had a lot of really great support from across the music industry. So last year we did a partnership with Mobo and a few other really great industry partnerships that we've been doing. So all these things have really been helping us to launch the platform without any marketing budget or anything like that. We've also, so if you are planning on starting a startup or you've got one and looking for support, oh gosh, I've only got 3 minutes left, I've hardly got into this at all, but I'll just race through it then. So there's lots of support out there. I'd be happy to share any of our experiences and talk you through that. So I'll very quickly talk about SupaPass. So basically, I think I'll jump through to, I've got a little video which shows you some screenshots of the beta which we ran last year. So basically, SupaPass is for fans who are tired of waiting months or even years for a new release from their favourite artists. Plus, they can do more than just read tweets. They can actually become part of their favourite artist's music future and help them focus more on creativity and less on promotion. So in return, they get a behind-the-scenes pass to their favourite artist's behind-the-scenes world. They can finally find everything in one place online. They can download new pre-release tracks, and they can even chat directly to the artist in a live video conference on Superstage. There are 3 tiers, so they can choose if they want to access more. So for example, Superstream, where they can play the artist's entire music back catalogue and make their own playlist. And they can become a patron of the arts of their favourite artists from only £1 a month. And again, I'd be very happy. We've got some really cool plans, actually. So if I skip through, that was about some of our traction. But these are some of our screenshots for the main product, which we're going to be launching in January. The product's changed quite a lot since our beta. And we're working with some really awesome artists. And again, it's got some great commercial partnerships. So for example, we've got a deal which is going to give us TV advertising on an international music TV channel in return for our brand services and lots of other cool things like that. So there's so much more that I could talk about, but I promise that I'll keep it down to the right time. So in terms of our future, we've got some really cool plans coming up. As I say, we're launching the main product early next year. We're just about to finish securing our investment. If you happen to be an investor or interested in that space, please come and talk to us afterwards. We've got a small amount of the round left to raise. And most importantly, in November time, we're going to be hiring. So we've got some jobs both in tech and music industry jobs. So if you're interested in that also, please get in touch. My email address is on there. Or come and talk to me afterwards. And so that, in a nutshell, is it. We've had some really cool press. So TechCrunch, they say, it was Mike Butcher, he said, SupaPass lets any musician run a subscription fan club, just like Gaga. And I think that's a really good note to end it on. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a really, really great festival, and thank you, Andrew, for inviting me.
Thanks, Juliana.